Ben and Alred, I'm not going to mess about tonight. We're going to jump straight into it. We're going to dissect the game from last night, Arsenal versus Liverpool in a 0-0 draw. For me, first half, Liverpool were, for the first half an hour, absolutely clueless. With no clue what we were doing, with no system, with nothing. It was men against boys, and I knew Arsenal were going to come out firing. There's a lot to debate in this game, so without further ado, while we've got our new man back with us tonight, Jackson, I'll let you set the ball rolling tonight, mate, and give us your thoughts on the game last night. What went right and what went wrong? Away you go, pal.
Well, thank you, Craig. Yeah, well, overall, I'm very pleased with the result and the performance from Liverpool. As you said just now, the first 25, 30 minutes, not good. Second best in the contest. But I think after Liverpool weathered that Arsenal storm, they then were the better team for the rest of the match. It was ever since that slight error at the back between Saliba and Ryan, then Conor Bradley hit the bar. After that, I think Liverpool controlled the game. So I'm very, very pleased with the performance as a whole, because pre-match I was convinced Arsenal were going to just roll us over, because it's been a pretty bad season for Liverpool, and Arsenal are the best team in the Premier League at the moment. So I'm very, very pleased. A couple of good individual performances. I want to give a shout out to Milos Kerkez. I thought that was his best game as a Liverpool player so far. He didn't let Bukayo Saka out of his sight. I was very impressed with that. It was a bit tough for him at the beginning, because Saka looked like he was really in the mood, had a couple of shots at Alisson, but after that, Kerkez just stalked him throughout the game, and Saka did come off midway through the second half. And I always feel, I played left back when I was playing Sunday League football, and I always felt if the right midfielder had to be taken off, I had won the battle, and Milos Kerkez won that battle. Florian Wirtz, he was brilliant as well. He's really starting to show why we paid all that money for him, so very pleased with his performance. Jeremy Frimpong was a live wire down that wing. If we were lacking one thing in the game, it was an end product. But when you consider we don't have Hugo Ekitike, Alexander Isak, Mohamed Salah, our three highest profile forwards against the meanest defence in the Premier League in Arsenal, it's perhaps not a surprise. It felt like once we got into the final third of the pitch, it was just look for Szoboszlai, and then maybe he can just score from long range or force Raya into a save, and hopefully one of our guys will get a goal on the rebound. But that was the one thing we are lacking. But hopefully next game or game after, we'll get Ekitike back and we'll look like a more complete side. But I am pretty pleased with what I saw last night.
Good. We've taken. I think we're absolutely shite at the minute, to be honest with you. But right, and this is the Champions Elect we went to last night, and we've taken 4 points out of 6 off them. So over to you, Ben. What were your thoughts on the game last night, and basically the starting 11 and how his formation and how we played?
I agree with Jackson on the whole. The first 30 minutes, we weren't we didn't come out firing, but you expect that. Big game away from home, and all the hype they had in the build-up for the last 5 days. You saw all the Twitter things, the one on social media. So they were also going to come out firing. But I always said if we could weather the first 20, 30, then we might get something. Because Arsenal are pretty meh overall. And I've been... I'm of an opinion that Arsenal need to score set pieces to really get going. Because their style relies on scoring a set piece and then cutting teams open from there when they have to open up a bit more. But on the whole, I was rather impressed by the performance defensively and going forward. And like Jackson said, maybe if just one of the other high-profile forwards was available, we put 1 or 2 past David Raya.
Fair point. Alred, your thoughts on the game?
I felt like we did that. We did exactly what other teams do to us. We parked the bus. We had everybody in the right position defensively, and that was the reason why we were shit in the first 30 minutes, because we weren't interested, or it was not our job to try and get anything out of it. We had the one in the bar, of course, but that was kind of like a fluke chance, not something that we sort of created on our own. I felt, of course, Arsenal were dominant in the first half, but they were shite. I'm sorry, it was just like looking at us against Leeds or something, where we don't create anything really big chances. To be honest, they were just as mediocre as we have been this season when playing a low block and not getting the goal early, like Ben touched upon. Second half was a totally different game. One thing is we controlled it, but we dominated in that sense. You can dominate a game with 0 shots on goal, but I didn't feel threatened or anything in the second half. Maybe a little bit when Eze came in, because he has some qualities, but he just jumped into the pocket of Kirkis, so I didn't see him anything. The only thing that I'm kind of irritated about is the fact that we didn't do any substitution there at the end and try to get a little goal. I still think we should have put Rio and Chiesa on last 10 minutes. One thing is fresh legs, and I'm not taking anything away from the players who played so far, because they did a good job. But if you had put a little bit fresh legs on, a little bit of threat to the defense of Arsenal, maybe we could have gotten lucky. But we didn't do that, so that was a bit too defensively for my taste.
Yeah, I mean, you stole my thunder a little bit there, because I mean, what I noticed when the game started last night, we were sitting back way too deep. I also think McAllister had his best game for us this season. I thought that was his best game this season up to now. He was back to the McAllister I know last season. He was controlling everything. I mean, Declan Rice wasn't happy. He wasn't getting the joy that he normally gets. And Frimpong. And the thing what really frustrated me last night was the decision making when we got to the 18-yard box. Again, we were passing it back to the halfway line. Why? We're on the 18-yard box. You've got a guy who's got pace there, and we're skinning their fullback left, right, and centre, right? And there was second half. He had a chance on his own where he chose to pass, but he chose the wrong decision where he should have gone himself. He could have scored. Right now, for me, I might be wrong here, but for me, I think we were unlucky not to go in 1-0 up when Conor Bradley hit the crossbar. Because if that was 2 inches lower, we were 1-0 up.
Or the 2 penalty situations.
And before anybody says it, hitting the crossbar isn't a shot on target, by the way.
I will say something about like the getting to the 18-yard box with Frimpong. The problem with that is we didn't have anyone in the box for Frimpong to pass it to. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Like, we have Gakpo, and I know it's just stupid coming from me because I have the biggest agenda on this guy and no Dutch people apparently. Yeah.
Here we go.
yeah.
Here we go. Go on.
But this is a 6'3" footballer, and he is terrible early. What's the point in being 6'3" and you can't use it?
I
don't think it shows to be 6'3".
Really?
But I agree to some extent with Ben there. He's not the best target man in the world. But the point is, we didn't try to have a target man yesterday. We didn't try to have anyone in the box anyway, because we were trying to defend and get the point. But talking about the situation that Craig mentions, where he comes all alone and tries to pass the ball, he should have just whacked it, closed his eyes and whacked it. If it had gone into the stands, okay, I don't care. We get to reorganize. So,
I mean, like you just mentioned there, I mean, I was absolutely bamboozled that Arne Slot didn't use any of his bench. Now, all that tells me is he doesn't trust any of them at all. Because, and also thought about it, when you looked at the starting 11 we had, who was he going to put on who was any better than the 11 that were out there? That was our strongest side. But if you look at Arsenal's bench as well, Arsenal's bench was 200 million. Liverpool's was probably, 60 mil max last night? It's a pinch.
But
you
if
know,
you
so
had,
I'm not making excuses. You know, you go with the cards that you dealt, and one thing I do agree with, and it's very rare I agree with him, but he was on commentary last night. I have to agree with Gary Neville when Martinelli went over to Conor Bradley when he was down injured. I'm surprised nobody broke his nose and flattened him, because I would have if I'd have been on that park. I'd have taken a red card 7 days a week and twice on a Sunday and twice on a Monday. I'd have flattened him.
Now, this is in instances where I don't like saying it, but it's very true. It's instances like that where you really wish we still had Darwin Núñez, because because Darwin Núñez would have sprinted to that low scrap, and you would have.
Well, you know something, Ben. I've read something, and I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but Liverpool are looking at bringing him back for 6 months.
Yeah, good luck with that. I don't think.
I'd be very surprised if that happens.
Well,
Arne Slot does not rate him because he's not comfortable on the ball, Darwin Núñez, and Arne Slot likes players that are comfortable on the ball, so that surely won't happen.
My question to you, Jackson, is: does Arne Slot rate anybody?
I mean, it's fair to say he does have his favourites. Just going back to your point, Craig, about not using the bench, I kind of had that same thought during the game, but I also thought, I reckon the likes of Curtis Jones, Rio Nguimoa, Federico Chiesa, they're probably going to start in the FA Cup on Monday night. So I thought, because Arne Slot, he kind of learnt last season by being knocked out by Plymouth that you can't underestimate that competition. And given Liverpool aren't going to win the league this season, he's definitely going to take it a bit more seriously this season. So I reckon you're going to play a weakened team, but you need to have enough quality in there to make sure it is a comfortable evening. That's what I took away from that. The reason why Arne Slot decided not to bring on any players in the game last night.
But they could have survived 10 minutes on the pitch.
I mean, yeah, you'd like to think so, but I mean, I think I've said before to you guys that when it comes to people like Federico Chiesa, he has had some injuries. I don't think Arne Slot has a lack of trust in his ability. I think he just does not trust Federico Chiesa's body. And if you bring him on and he just pulls out of a hamstring injury after 5 minutes, then that kind of wrecks his plans for Barnsley. He's going to have to play someone senior against Barnsley who he probably wouldn't have wanted to, because we'll have League and Champions League games coming up.
Yeah, good
point. But do you not think that... I honestly thought that Chiesa and Rio Nguimoa in that second half, if they'd have come on, they'd have caused Arsenal massive problems at the back.
But yeah, they've definitely got that in their arsenal, if you pardon the pun.
You're a TV commentator in the making, you Jackson lad. I don't know if you know it or not.
I am actually trying to be a commentator, so that I really appreciate you saying that. But yeah, I just kind of thought maybe Arne Slot thought we're doing so well, let's just not change it. Arsenal are ultimately a very dangerous team, even though they didn't really show much of that danger last night. So just don't mess with what was a pretty successful formula. I'm sure those players who are on the bench will all start against Barnsley.
Can I just make a point here when we talked about Martinelli earlier? Now, we all know that in the heat of the battle that, you can misjudge the situation or get a little bit carried away. But one thing is that you do that. One thing is that you are one of the biggest fucking cheating, diving bastards in the world. And you use all the tricks in the world. He got pushed onto the field by Arteta because he was outside when he was injured once with cramp or whatever. And when you're that cheating bastard kind of player yourself, you're the last one who's going to open your mouth and try to pin something on other for wasting time or faking an injury or anything. You should shut the fuck up, sit down and have a cookie.
I will say one thing to add to that is Slot got it bang on when he talked about time wasting and how it's such a problem now that you can't tell the difference between someone who's actually injured and someone who's just trying to run the clock down. It's a valid point, but it doesn't excuse his actions, because not only did he kick him or push him, I think he kicked him as well slightly, and he threw the ball at him. So
Yeah.
I agree that time wasting is a huge problem, but it's like Donald Trump complaining about not following the rules. He's the last one who should talk about that. So my point is, time wasting issue, and that has to be addressed. But there has been no time wasting at all in this game up till that moment. And you hear him screaming, you see the way he's holding, and then that cheating. Yeah.
It was disgusting from a professional footballer, and you could see the lad was in agony the way he was thumping the ground. So something went, and it obviously he left the stadium last night on crutches. It doesn't look good. And Ernie Slot said in his post-match press conference, like Ben's just alluded to there, every team does it. I mean, I can take you to another example which I've seen today. And I totally agree with David Moyes. There's no way Keane should have gone for that. Yeah, I mean, they call it pulling his hair. Keane's never been sent off in his career until last night. And I feel for the guy. I know he's got a 3-game ban for that last night against Wolves. But my next point is, going back to the game last night, let's start with you, Jackson, on this. What was your thoughts on the first penalty, which people said we should have had, which for me, it was never a penalty all day long. Frimpong was never touched. And the big problem is, for me, Frimpong was never touched. If you watch it back, he was never touched. And I've said it time and time again, and I'm going to call it out again now. The biggest problem is the boots that they're wearing. It's the biggest problem. Adidas, Nike, and whoever they may be, they don't care. The boots are not leather, they're plastic. Right? If you look at the studs they're wearing, this is the big issue. And for me, it was never a penalty all day. Frimpong made a meal of it. And it wasn't a penalty on Wirtz either. Football's a contact sport. We're not mamby-pambies. It's not girls' netball we're playing here.
Can I just add to that before you go to Jackson? Yeah, with the Wirtz one, there's calling football a contact sport, and then there's just ignoring the fact that it's football, not rugby.
Well,
Trossard literally shoulder barges Wirtz off the ball. Wirtz scores if that doesn't happen, I think. So in my opinion, it should be a pen because he's denying a goal scoring opportunity.
All right, Jackson, over to you.
To be fair, I must say, like in real time, I didn't notice either of them. Or well, I saw them, but I didn't think, penalty straight away. But the Frimpong one, yeah, I agree with you, Craig. Not a penalty in my book. I think he just tripped over his own feet. Might have been because of the boots. Yeah, I don't think there was enough contact for that to be considered a foul on Frimpong. The Florian Wirtz one, I mean, yeah, like the Arsenal defender gets straight in his way, makes no effort to play the ball. I think it's one of those ones that on one night you get them, on another night you don't. It really depends who the referee is and how the referee's feeling, and if VAR want to get involved as well. I reckon at some point later this season we'll get a decision like that, but unfortunately last night we just didn't get it. So Frimpong no, and Florian Wirtz is a maybe, basically.
Maybe, right. Ben, over to you, because I'm going to leave the Viking till last on this. Go on, Ben.
He's bubbling.
Yeah, no, he is. That's why I'm making him wait.
Hurry up, Ben.
Yeah. I've already gave my opinion on the Wirtz one. I think that should have been a pen. My opinion, though. But agree to disagree. We'll probably have that given against us later in the season.
What about the Frimpong one then?
No, I don't think that one was a pen. When I watched the highlight back, I don't. It was a 50-50. He just tripped over his own foot, really, at the end of the day. But then again, like you say, you made a meal of it, yeah. But you have to make meals of things now because referees are so unpredictable. If you don't make a meal of it, there's nothing. It's not going to get checked.
Yeah. Okay. We'll let the beast out of his cage now. Over to you, Howard.
How the fuck can you say it's not a touch? Okay. Okay. My point is, the first one, I had to see the replay many times. I did not shout a penalty when I saw it in real time because, and if it had been given, it would have been a soft one. But to sit here with 3 apparently, fellow-minded people and say it's not a touch.
Mm-hmm.
He touches him under the foot when he tries to put his foot down. That's why he loses. Well, you can shake your head. You know what you're doing. But the point, for me, it's a clear touch. It would have been a very soft penalty, so I have no issue with that. It's not given. But for me, it's a clear touch. The second one, when Trossard, who should have gotten a second yellow, comes in with mouth guard and NFL gear and just charges in. I think the only reason that is not a penalty is because of the poor touch from Wirtz, which led to the ball being too far away from him. That's the only reason. Now, I have been a referee for floorball for 12 years. Now, that is not the contact sport like football, but we have the same idiots playing that one as we have playing football. And they say, hey, shoulder against shoulder. And that is one thing. Yeah, shoulder against shoulder is one thing, but charging with your shoulder, that is not allowed. So that could or should have been a penalty. But I think it got waved off because of the poor touch from Wirtz.
My thing with the Frimpong one is it wasn't even checked. Like, it didn't get mentioned once by it was going, the VAR might have a look.
Yeah. So
was it clear and obvious though?
No.
Yeah. So that's VAR can't come in then. Yeah.
No. Yeah. As I said, I have no issue with that in not getting a penalty. But sitting here and saying it wasn't a touch, then you need to get better broadband on your Sky broadcasting in England, because I saw it very clearly here in Norway. So, but my point is, the one would have been very soft. I don't think they would have changed it if he had blown on it either. And I don't think he made a meal of it, because he gets the ankle twisted, and that hurts like motherfucker when you land on the ground. And that's what he didn't scream because of the tackle. He screamed because he twisted his ankle.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, another thing which infuriated me last night as well, and it's just come back to me while you was on your rant there, the voice of treason. Honestly, Alisson played a ball out to Kirkes on the left, right, and he's on the touchline. And honestly, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, and the wee donkey would have brought that under control. He's a professional footballer. He's on the touchline. He can't even trap a bag of cement. The man trap a ball, and it goes out for an Arsenal throw. And I'm thinking, what am I watching here? And if you notice the second half, we looked a lot better when Virgil decided to, switch his brain back on for some reason and push the back 4 or 5 yards further up. We looked a lot more solid and a lot more compact then, because up to that point where Virgil didn't do that, it was. I mean, my balance is better than Frimpong's, and I've not got any. So you can laugh all you want. Just good job you're in Norway, lad. I tell you. I tell you. But I'm sorry, but for the pace he's got, his balance is shocking. His decisions making is not good enough. He needs to learn how to pass the ball 5 yards. We didn't have no pass Curtis Jones on for a change. But I mean, I said last stream we did, I went 90th minute winner 1-0 Liverpool, because you two at the top engine bracket, they went 4-0, 5-0, right? We were going to get pumped. We didn't get pumped. We've come away with a point, and this is a team who are Arsenal.
14 points away.
If you look at it, since we won the first 5 games of the season, there's been a 19-point swing.
Yeah,
which is scary.
Now, I just have to jump on there. The one thing with Kirkes that kind of irritates me is, and I agree, he had a really good game defensively yesterday. he had both the guys on the right side in his pocket. However, whenever he runs up on the left side, and the ball comes in up to him for some, they pass him. It's going back.
Yeah.
Because he's not good enough to get past his man. And if by some miraculous wonder he should or could, he can't pass the ball. He can't cross the ball. He can't pass the ball. He can't handle the ball. I mean, if you look at Robertson, who's now not in his prime, you still feel we can get something out of a cross. I mean, if you see Kirkes try to kick the ball, you think, well, back to the defense. It's not going anywhere. He's useless.
Could you not say that's also partly down to confidence? Because last season his crosses for Bournemouth were on the money. If you watched that Spurs game, that cross he got for, I think it was Tavernier, that was one of the best crosses you'll ever see.
Well, that may be, but even a blind chicken can find some corn once in a while. So my point is, he hasn't done it for us, and I don't care what he did last year.
I think he's still learning how to play in this Liverpool team, because it is a massive step up to go from Bournemouth to Liverpool, and like Ben says, I think because he hasn't played very well up until last night. Generally for Liverpool, he is going to be a bit low on confidence, and I think also last night he was probably instructed to not bomb forward so much, because Liverpool did shut up shop, particularly at the start of the game. But there were one or two hairy moments for Kirkes, but as we all agree, it was a very good performance from him generally, and defensively he got pretty much everything right.
Yeah, I agree, but he has tried earlier to make a crossing. He has tried earlier. I'm not talking about this game in particular. It is an issue. He has 2 stone feet when it comes to, at least from what I've seen in Liverpool. I didn't follow him in Bournemouth. I didn't care when he was there.
Okay, so I've got a question. I've got a question to all three of you. Looking at how we played last night, second half, I was really pleased with how we played, and we've come away with a point. I thought we were lucky not to probably win it 1-0, but like I said, I asked you both on I think it was Wednesday, would you take a point? And you both said yeah. So we're still 14 points behind Arsenal. We're 8 points behind City, right? So you're looking at that City. That's what. So you're looking at 3 games. Arsenal are not going to. I can't see Arsenal losing 5 games. But I'm going to start with you here, Jackson. What do you feel at the minute? What do you feel is Liverpool's Achilles heel at the moment? And if you knew what it was, or if you know what it is, what would you do to sort it out? And then we can turn to the other 2.
Cool. I mean, ironically, I think it's right now it's us going forward that is our Achilles heel, because we have quite a few players who are injured. I think Ben said something on the
What are you typing here, Ben?
I didn't quite read it.
Send me love letters. Go on, Jackson.
So ironically, even though we spent so much money on forward players, I think it is our Achilles heel at the moment, and it's partly because we've got two of our main strikers injured in Ekitike, and Isak, and Mohamed Salah is away at AFCON. But I'd say over the last 10 games, worst unbeaten run. There have for sure been some disappointing results in that run, but Arne Slot has done a good job of making Liverpool hard to beat, because just before we went on that 10-game unbeaten run, we got battered by Nottingham Forest and PSV Eindhoven at Anfield, and that is just not good enough for Liverpool, even if we're going through some kind of crisis. So I think defensively, we're looking the most secure we have since the start of last season, really, because I mean, we won the title because we had an embarrassment of riches going forward, and we weren't actually that good defensively last season, but we were just superior in attack to the rest of the league. But that is our Achilles heel right now. Hopefully Ekitike will be available for our next league game. I don't think he'll be required against Barnsley. I mean, you'd hope not anyway. and then Mohamed Salah will be back shortly after that. So hopefully that's not a problem that will hopefully not fester. But yeah, I think that is our issue at the moment.
Alred?
It is more complicated now. We can still sit here and talk how well we performed yesterday and everything like that, but we performed good defensively because we had 11 men behind the ball all the time. Now, in a game against City when they were at the prime, or Arsenal away now, we can do that once in a while, and I have no problem with that. But the point is, we're not a team who's supposed to play like that. We are supposed to be a team who can win games and play a kind of entertaining football as far as the opponent lets us. Now, we haven't done that at all, more or less, maybe except the Madrid game, in my opinion, maybe the Arsenal. But the issue is, it looks like we have talked about this before: the death of Jota. The mood, the changes, too many changes, injuries, players missing pre-season, blah blah blah, whatever it is. And I think all this is the reason why we don't work offensively. The relations, the last year we had players who have played together for many years. Now we have 6 or 7 new ones, including injuries, including Jota, including this, including that. Teams who are more kind of figured us out how to defend against us. And we are a bit like Arsenal in that way. If we don't get the first goal, they sit back like we did yesterday and just sit there until the game's over. And we still haven't figured out how to deal with that. And that is a problem. That is a creativity problem. It's a relationship problem. And it has to be sorted out very soon.
Yeah, just if I could just say something about defensively. I also think Liverpool are just operating more defensively these days because it's just a symptom of where the game's at the moment. All the top teams are more focused on their defence this season. Even the great Pep Guardiola, the champion of tiki-taka football, has been parking the bus. He did that at Arsenal earlier this season. And I think, if anything, maybe Liverpool got a bit left behind at the start of the season because they just thought, well, we had a great attacking lineup last season. We'll do the same this season. But that just wasn't where the game was at that point. So that was one of the many reasons why we lost quite a few games at the start of the season. So I think, in a way, Liverpool setting up the way they did last night and in other big games is them kind of catching up to the rest of the league.
Ben?
As much as I can joke around and just go and say Dutch people, yeah. There's many things you could say that we have problems with, and I've said this many times on anything Liverpool and on here. But the most concerning problem at the minute is, in my opinion, the word of the day is depth. Like, look at, like you said earlier, what Arsenal could bring on compared to what we could bring on.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we didn't make any subs, but like Harold said, did Slot trust the 2 main guys on there? Because Rio ain't ready. He doesn't like Chiesa, and Jones was unfit. So.
And the thing is, as well, you've just named a young lad there, 17-year-old Rio Ngamoa. Now, Ernie Slot, and obviously, I'll give you a bit of an insight here, Ben. One of the streams we did, one of the clips, what we were talking about youth and the academy. Now, I've had a look. Now over 1,000 people have watched that short clip, what's been put out, where you were talking about the academy and the young players. Now, obviously, Ernie Slot doesn't trust them. Yet this week, yesterday, Liverpool have signed 2 17-year-old centre-backs, which is a real head scratcher for me. Because if he doesn't trust Rio Ngamoa, why have they signed 2 young kids who are going to go straight into under 21s and will probably never kick a ball for the first team?
I'll tell you why. The reason why we're signing them is because we're going to make money of them in a couple of weeks. It's only financial. It has nothing to do with building a team or anything. It's just signing them before they potentially get better, and then we can sell them for more money.
Yeah, it's like Sepp Vandenberg, we did that too. We signed him for peanuts and then sold him to Brentford for like 20 odd million. That question you asked, Craig, it also made me think about how much power does Arne Slot have? Of course, he's the first
Zero.
he's the first head coach in the history of the club. So by definition, he probably has the least amount of power of any of his predecessors. But again, that's just the way the game is going. There are a lot more head coaches than managers, and well, Ruben Amorim, he made it very clear that he wasn't happy with the amount of power he had. So if you want to get ahead in the management game, you just got to shut up and get on with it, basically.
Well, I'm gonna nickname Richard Hughes Geppetto from now on, because I think Geppetto, he's the puppet master in Pinocchio, and I think that's what Arne Slot's becoming. I think he's becoming Richard Hughes' puppet. But moving on to the next topic.
Ben didn't get the answer.
Ben didn't get the answer
about a signing from the youth.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the two young kids coming over who are 17, Ben?
When everyone says that they're only being brought in to ship off later down the line for profit, on the whole, that's only if Slot's still here, in my opinion. Because say we go and get someone like Nagelsmann, I reckon they'll be integrated. Because from what I've been told, these are two very talented players who have very high potential. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean they'll reach it, but they've got it. So if you go and get a coach that's going to give them the chances and develop them like Klopp would have, then maybe they do have a future. But on the general thing, if Slot's still here long term, then I do think they'll be sold for a profit in 2-3 years because of Slot's usage of youth academy and his clear disdain towards such players.
But I could have said it differently. I think we buy these players on what might be. Now, usually might be doesn't happen due to either playing time, injuries, managers, playing style, formation, whatever. It can be many things that doesn't make him succeed in one club, but in another club. So I think they are buying him. It's a low investment for something that may pay off on the field. If it doesn't pay off on the field, it pays off in money. And that is the point. It is a no-lose situation for the club. Is what I'm saying.
I think, like, when you look at the general basis of football in the last 10 years, that is like kind of the premise a lot of clubs run on with youth academy players now. Like, you bring them in on the cheap and on the low, and if they don't become first team regulars, which is which is profit on the pitch, then you'll just get the profit back off the pitch. Like Chelsea, the perfect example of that, because I mean, look at how they operate, or Ajax or Benfica.
Carvalho is one who didn't succeed. Elliot, we bought, and now he's not here anymore. Rio has played 14 minutes together.
Harry Wilson.
Sepp van der Berg, and there was Kwanzaa. Yeah.
Kwanzaa's coming back in 2 years' time. That's the most obvious thing ever.
My point is that for everyone that succeed at the club or the youth level after getting bought early, you have hundreds who don't make it.
Oh yeah, it's not 0.1% which actually make it as a professional footballer in this country. So the figures are really, really low.
My last point on this is that obviously geographically we're kind of disadvantaged with youth talent, like in comparison to someone like Chelsea or Arsenal. They have London, we have Liverpool, which obviously there's some good players in the youth ranks, but compared to London, it's a laughingstock.
Yeah, but and not only that, you're competing against Man United, Manchester City, Everton, Real Madrid. Yeah, I
don't see it as a disadvantage because, like you say, Ben, London has how many talents in and around London? They are 50 by the dozen. Not everyone gets a chance to develop and then we come along and take those that we think are the best of those who don't get the chance, like Rio. He didn't get the chance. He didn't get, because there are so many competing for that spot. He didn't get the chance he felt he deserved, and then came to us. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, since before I move on to the next topic, we're going to touch on. Since we signed Rio and Gamoa, I don't know if you know this or not, but Liverpool have been banned from scouting at Chelsea's academy. Did you know that? Did you know that at all?
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, Liverpool have been banned from scouting any of Chelsea's academy in future.
Can we be banned?
Yeah, they can.
Yeah,
they
they
can
can stop you. Yeah.
They're still bitter that we made Salah a good player.
Yeah. So basically, this leads on nicely to, obviously, Liverpool don't play at the weekend now. Liverpool play on Monday night at Anfield at home to Barnsley in the FA Cup. So my question to you three gentlemen now is, I'll start off with you, Jackson, here on this one. First one, would you be really bothered if Liverpool lost on Monday night? And what do you feel the starting 11 should be?
In answer to your first question, yes, I would be very bothered if we lost at home to Barnsley. I had a quick look at where they are in the English football pyramid. They are 2 points off the relegation zone in League One. That would be a very embarrassing defeat. It would also be bad on the level of, I think the FA Cup is our best opportunity to win a trophy this season. And also I think we've got a score to settle in the FA Cup as well after being humiliated by Plymouth. So yes, I would be highly disappointed for those three reasons. And well, the starting 11, I think it'll be much changed. It will be every player that started against Arsenal will not start against Barnsley. You'll have a couple of them on the bench just in case there's an issue with Barnsley going ahead or something. But I think we'll definitely see Chiesa, Curtis Jones, and Ria Ngamoa starting the game. After that, it'll probably be a few people that we've not really heard of.
Do you think Cinderella will get a game?
I don't think they're going to make that mistake again with not having first team players on the bench after Plymouth. No.
Yeah. Yes. It was a fantastic season, but that was an oversight by Arda Slot last season.
Oh, I'm trying to forget it actually, but it was Kiesa's worst game ever in a red shirt.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't think Kies. Before, like with me and Harold answer the question about the Barnsley game and whatnot, I don't even think Kies was actually that bad in the Plymouth game. It's just because he's kind of been made the scapegoat that people use that game as a thing. He was
a so-called senior player.
Yeah. I remember Darwin Núñez had a massive chance at stoppage time, which he really should have stuck away. It was like a header for about 6 yards out, and the keeper saved it. I'm still a bit upset about that.
Yeah, like some people talk about Chiesa in that game like he was the second coming of Satan, when in reality he was far from our worst player. Núñez, Jota, Diaz, Elliott, Kwanzaa, they were all horrific in that game. Then again, you could name anyone, and genuinely the opinion would be that they didn't play that well or well enough versus Plymouth. But, yeah.
So, would you class Monday night's game as a big game then in Liverpool's season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like Jackson said, this is like unless you're confident we can go far in the UCL, which maybe we can. We've done it before under Rafa.
Yeah, the best team doesn't always win the Champions League, so we could win that, but FA Cup's more likely. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in the pretense that if we want to win a trophy this season, you go guns blazing for the FA Cup, because like Jackson said again, it's probably our most likely shot at one at some silverware this season.
Yeah, well, and you're saying that, and there's a team which is 37 miles away from me, who they've still not decided who the interim manager's going to be yet, and they're also setting the sights on the FA Cup. It's a shame, Jackson, you weren't on the stream when we was talking about Ruben Amorim sacking, because I did a stream and it had to be done because it was a massive story, whichever way you look at it. Whatever Man United do, whether you like them or not, they always make the headlines and they get constant coverage. And it's going to be the same when Arne Slot's gone in the summer. When Liverpool change the manager, it's going to be Liverpool all day on Sky Sports again. You're going to get sick of seeing it. But I think the game on Monday night, I think as well, we should use the game from last night as a springboard now for the rest of the season. You know, we should be playing football. You know, I mean, you're all right in what you're saying, but I just think I can't see us doing anything in the Champions League. I really can't, because we're not playing well enough. And I know we finished top last year and then we ended up drawing PSG. So I hope Arsenal finish top and they draw Real Madrid.
The more likely to draw Barca because Real Madrid are probably going to finish top 8.
Well, I'm not too. Where are we sitting at the minute?
We're 9th, Barca are 15th.
Right. Oh, God.
I mean, to be fair, PSG only just got inside the top 24 last season. Then second half of the season, they just went out like a train.
Yeah. And, I mean, while you've been talking there, it's just come up. Manchester City have sealed the signing of Antoine Semenyo for £64 million. I can't believe Liverpool weren't in for him, you know. I find it absolutely amazing that they've just let City come in and there you go, no problem.
My opinion on that is they've got their sights set on something a bit bigger.
And apparently, Arsenal have also thrown that into the ring for Mark Gay after last night as well. So he can take his pick of who he wants.
That would hurt if Mark Gay didn't sign for Liverpool next summer. I was so ready for him to sign for us last summer. I
don't think he's coming, Jackson.
If Manchester City come calling, then even. Well, I mean, would he go to Arsenal because they've got so many great defenders already that he might not play over there. And Semenyo, I'm not sure he's starting for Manchester City. Ryan Cherky's playing brilliantly. Phil Foden, he's got his form back this season. So Semenyo's going to have to really fight for his spot in that Man City team. But if it's between Man City or Man United, who seem to be the most linked teams with Semenyo, you're obviously going to pick Man City.
I mean, I've said it all season on this stream, and I'm going to say it again tonight now. I honestly think that we should go and sign Nico Slotterbeck from Dortmund because I rate him better than Mark Gay.
I agree. I've never really been keen on the idea of Gay. I was on a free, but not for like a big transfer price, because free, homegrown, good leader, good character in the dressing room, and he's a good player. But there's better out there, and I've named a few on streams like Jeremy Chiquette, Joe Lordonez, like you say, Schlotterbeck.
Yeah,
there's many better players. The main advantage Gay he has over them names is prem proven and homegrown and free. That's all. He's not a better player than any of the three you and I just named.
I mean,
to be fair, I've not watched a lot of Nico Schlotterbeck, so I don't really know how good he is, but I've certainly heard of the name.
You know, I'd throw Bastoni in there as well, but Ben won't agree on that one.
It's not that I don't want him, it's just I don't think he'll ever leave Inter.
No, it's just, I mean, I do like. I mean, it'd be like the cat who got the cream if we had Schlotterbeck and Bastoni as centre backs. Oh, come on.
And again, though, like with Bastoni,
that'd be like the second coming of Sam Appiah, wouldn't it?
I don't rate Bastoni in a back four. I think he's a bit of a bozo in back fours. Like in Inter's system, where it's a back three with wing backs and defensive midfielders in a very slow league with minimal quality in attackers, part like Napoli in Juve. That's why I'm not fancying it, because he's obviously going to cost like 80 million as well, and he'll want big money.
Well, so Mark Gay.
Yeah, but Mark Gay will be coming on a free.
You can say, I might be wrong here, but I'm going to guess that if Liverpool sign Mark Gay in the summer, he'll triple his wages.
Honestly. And it's not that his weekly wage will triple, it's the sign-on fee you're talking about. He'll want his agents will be like sharks. Just with that, they'll want their like low commissions and whatnot.
I'm a bit concerned why the Vikings gone quiet. What are you thinking?
I just waited for my turn to say what my thoughts about the Monday game.
Well, you can jump in at any time. I mean, we've got our very own Seth Vandenberg at the bottom.
Yeah, but you went off on a hike in the forest in the hills, and I just thought, all right, I'll just wait. I was trying to remember what I was going to say about the Monday game. That's what I was trying to do. Because
Do you
all
think
this transfer.
Do you think it's important?
Now, I have to agree with Jackson on one point, and you and Ben, but it would be a disgrace in a one match out of context. It would be a disgrace to lose against Barnsley at home. Any day, anyway, it would be a disgrace to lose against them at home. Now, if heaven should open up, hell should open up, and it snows in hell, and all angels come singing, and we somehow lose that game on penalties or whatever it must be, I agree that it's the best shot for a trophy this year. I think it's the only realistic chance we have of a title or a trophy this year. I don't think Champions League is very realistic. As long as City and Arsenal and a couple of other clubs are in the FA Cup, I don't see us as favorites anyway. So it would be a shocking result that will be talked about in England for many years if we lose. However, for me, the most important thing is to get top 4. I'm sorry. That's the most important thing. We have to think about next season. We have to think about getting players for next season, or even a manager for next season. Whatever it is.
Economically, I agree, but football reasons, silverware trumps top 4. At the end of the day, the memory you'll get for the people who go to Wembley on the day we said we get there.
Good and fair point. Young Padawan. But yeah, it is something that if we want to take the next step, you want players who can play, who can get to play regular Champions League. If you're going to get Gueye, then let's say he's the messiah we need in defense. It's going to be Thursday games with Liverpool or Champions League with City. Already there we are at a disadvantage, and that is the point. If he is going to leave Crystal Palace, he wants Champions League. He wants to take the next step. He doesn't want to play European League, and that is why it's so important. Now, trophies are important, but yeah, I would rather have top 4 than get kicked out by Arsenal in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, Errol, yeah, if you give me the choice, either finish top 4 Champions League and no trophy, or trophy and Europa League next season, I pick the former. Do you not think we could do both? We could finish in the top 4, because let's face it is quite a low standard Premier League season. Everyone is beating everyone, and even I think Arsenal, they're probably going to win the Premier League, but they're not going to be one of the great champions. They've already dropped plenty of points. So I think we can just plod along, finish 4th, possibly 3rd. I reckon Aston Villa are going to drop off at some point this season and make a good fist of winning the FA Cup, or who knows, maybe the Champions League, but it kind of depends on who we draw.
I just want a quick answer, Ben. Because everybody beats everybody. If you lose one game, you're down 10 places. And if you win one, you're up 10 places. So just because of that, because there hasn't been a top 4 that's kind of trotted along by itself, it is very dangerous, because if you have a slip or 2, you lose it. So for me, I would rather prioritize that and take the FA Cup as a bonus. I would probably prioritize top 4, FA Cup, and then Champions League, because Champions League we're not going to get.
On that thing though, when Jackson said, "Can you do both?" That's kind of the premise the pretense I was going to go on. because I'm not worried about top 4, top 5, because I think England will get the 5th spot again this season.
Yeah, but top 4, top 5, no matter. It's still close.
Yeah, but the thing is the quality. Like, if Liverpool can get into 3rd gear and stay in 3rd, 4th gear, then we're getting 3rd place, and no team in below us or above us is going to do a damn thing about it, because we are the second best team in the league on paper.
But if heaven opens up, if it cries blood and tears, and if everything happens, if doesn't get us anywhere, we have to get there, and then we can talk about changing the premise. We can talk about changing priorities. We had one set of priorities when the season started. That took 8, 9, 10 games, and then we chucked that out the window. So it's dynamic. It changes. As of now, we had a good defensive performance yesterday against the best team in England as of today, but we didn't play any good football. We played good defensively, but we didn't play any good football. So if we get, as you say, Ben, in 3rd gear and get stuck there, that will be, we can get top 4 or top 3 with our blindfolds on. But until we get there, we have to prioritize in that order, in my opinion.
Then again, I'll look at it this way: if we can't put a run together and sustain the form in the league after the performance last night defensively, and we just go back to being leaky at the back, then it's just another sign that this manager has to go, in my opinion. Because last night was a good blueprint for how we should set up for the remainder of the season, in the Prem anyway.
Yeah, but again, the game against Barnsley ain't going to be set up this way. And ain't going to be set up with those 11 players at all. The Monday game can...
I'm not on about the game against Barnsley. I expect us to come out the blocks flying, scoring at least 3 or 4 goals. Like, I'm expecting Rio Ingamo to have a field day and show why he's one of the top talents in Europe. But in games like Arsenal or City, or when we go to Villa Park, or when Chelsea come to Anfield, then performances like last night, just do that. And because we'll have Ekitike and Salah back, we'll score goals.
You mean the Salah we were so happy we're leaving for AFCON because there were issues and he's playing poorly? You mean that Salah?
If you were happy he was going, then you've got peas for brains, because you're happy that we lose depth, crucial depth, in my opinion.
Okay, so I've got one final question then, because I want St. Vandenberg's opinion on the Mo Salah situation, because we've not seen you for a while, Jackson, and it's honestly I was thrilled to bits when I got the reply from you that you were coming on. So, and I hope this is the first of many. I really do. So, what was your take on the whole debacle with Mo Salah and Arne Slot and how it all played out? Thought?
Well, I mean, I was pretty furious seeing those quotes come through on my social media timeline. You can't do that as a player. I don't care what you've achieved. You can't go against the manager in public like that. That's not how you conduct your business as a top footballer. And I was all for selling Salah in January when that news broke, but the circumstances have changed for Liverpool. Alexander Isak, he might not play again this season. So Mohamed Salah has to stay until the summer at least. Well, we're not there at Kirby. Perhaps him and Arne Slot have kissed and made up. So maybe there is a way back for Salah, but I reckon he's kind of angling for that move to Saudi Arabia. So I think in the summer we can just kind of regroup and then look to squeeze as much money from whatever Saudi club is going to sign him. And Salah will leave in the summer. That's probably the best thing for all parties, considering what you said.
And I just want to shoot in here for Ben, because I have a pea brain. I was glad that he left due to what it did to the club. I was not happy that he left because we lacked squad or we lacked this or that. It was a situation that we needed a break from because we are a team in shit. So he added on to that with that situation he created. That is why I meant that it was a good thing he left because we got some distance. He could focus on something else. We got some peace and quiet to do our work instead of being asked every time, 15 times a day, about that situation. That's what I talked about with my little pea brain.
Yeah, that's the fair point. But I wasn't like saying you in general. I was talking about the masses on the cesspit known as X.
Yeah, but I'm old. I've lived longer than you. I know what I'm talking about.
What does that make me then?
Antique.
Antique. At least, I think we can all agree on one thing. At least our club's not run like Chelsea and Man United. And while Jackson's been talking, it's just breaking now that a fellow Norwegian of Alred's, who he loves to death, is holding talks on Saturday with Manchester United about becoming their interim manager. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Ollie's at the wheel.
Ollie's at the wheel again.
Let's run it back. It was so good the first time.
You never go back there. You never go back.
Okay, I'm going to put a name in the chat here. Now, that is a wooden doll with puppet strings that we had on children TV when I was a kid. We in Norway, we call him this name. So you have to fucking Google it. I'll just put the link in, and you will see that he looks like him.
Right,
if you, I'll let me see now. I mean, he's.
I mean, it can't be as bad as what Guna means. Have you googled that?
If you look at the doll on that picture I sent you in the link, you will see that it looks just exactly like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
See.
Yeah, you may have to scroll a little. I don't know.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying? It looks just like him. The facial pattern. It's just like him.
How long have people been saying that in Norway?
A few years. Yeah. So.
Dear me. So,
but Jackson, I want to hear about. I would like to hear your thoughts about this because we talked about it last stream, and that is, I am fearing that we may be becoming a little bit more like United and Chelsea in the way that we now have pencil pushers in Edwards and Hughes, who are trying to meddle or to try to have more influence and saying when it comes to running of the team. Like we have the situation where we didn't sign anyone for when Diaz left because Hughes meant that we should not hinder Rio's development. Now, if the manager, head coach, or the cleaning lady, or whoever is in charge of the team, when they say we need this or we need that, they should back it with maybe finding the right player for that. They shouldn't say, well, we want you to play this or we want you to do that.
Yeah, it is kind of, maybe we might be at a bit of a crossroads moment in the way the club is run. Obviously, Arne Slot's predecessor, Jurgen Klopp, he had this image of being this all-powerful being. I mean, I think they call Robbie Fowler God, but I think Jurgen Klopp is revered by Liverpool fans and likened to a god more than Robbie Fowler ever was. But I think there were even moments where Jurgen Klopp was sometimes told by staff members at Liverpool that he was wrong. For example, Michael Edwards, he had a massive role in the club's recruitment, and it was a very good partnership. That I saw a Mohamed Salah documentary a few days ago, and Jurgen Klopp, it seems like he didn't really want to sign Mohamed Salah. He wanted to sign Julian Brandt instead, but Liverpool's analytics team were very insistent to Klopp, by the way, look at these stats of Salah. He is the guy we need to sign. And eventually Klopp caved and they signed Salah, and the rest is history, as they say. So I kind of think maybe Klopp was not as a figure of authority as much as his image would suggest. So I wouldn't say I'm worried we're heading down the route of being like Manchester United or Chelsea, but as I said a little earlier on this episode, it does seem like Arne Slot does not have as much power as any of his predecessors, and if that's the case, then we just got to hope that the people above him know what they're doing, because at certain other clubs in the Premier League, it appears they don't.
Yeah.
I think that's an absolutely brilliant summary, to be honest with you. And I think it's a great way to end the stream tonight. We couldn't have ended it better, to be fair. So on behalf of myself, Aldo from All Red TV, from my friend in the top right-hand corner, Ben, I don't know what you're sulking for, Ben. You've been good tonight again. You've been brilliant. And then from my Norwegian friend, Alred, and then from my very own Sepp Vandenberg in the bottom left-hand corner. So glad you've made it, mate. And I hope you're available again, because I just think we're building something really special here. And looking at the analytics of the streams that we've done, that people are loving it. So, because, I mean, we've discussed things which people don't want to talk about. I mean, we did one stream, Jackson. It was about the Anfield atmosphere. Is it a myth or is it legend? And it was a really good stream, because obviously there's 4 of us on there, and you got 4 different generations, so you got 4 different opinions on it. So I'm going to set you all a bit of homework now. So what I want you to do, right? Here's my first question. My first question to all 3 of you is: how many streams per week would you like to do if you were as available? Would you want, so how many streams per week? 2, 3, whatever. And then my next question is, your homework is, come up with the topics that you'd like to discuss in future streams.
Now,
Okay.
I just read the chat from Ben here. Now, you cannot sit here, Ben. You cannot sit here and say, I thought I left school in 2019. Fuck off, we left the school in the 90s somewhere. So you're just pissing me off. You've had 2 minutes without homework. I have to start thinking about homework, and I haven't thought about it in 40 years. So it's a bigger shock for me.
So I'll tell the man upstairs to not give birth to me in 2004.
So so obviously the guys on the Anything Liverpool Refugees, and you guys here tonight, you can let me know how many days a week you want to stream, and then when you've got time, you can come up with the topics that you'd like to discuss. And if you want to host any, Jackson, you're welcome to. Okay. Same with you, Ben, because there's only 2 hosts at the minute. That's me and the voice of treason in the corner. Just above.
I know what Ben's first host topic is going to be.
Why Dutch people are bad.
No. It's not why Dutch people are bad. Dutch people, should they be thrown out or kicked out? That's the discussion. It's not about how we're going to. It's not that we're going to kick them out. It's how we're going to get them out. So
sounds like a good stream.
So for myself and the guys, it's been a wonderful hour, over an hour, and I don't mind, mate. But obviously, you guys have got things to do. But I've really enjoyed it. So from Ben, from Alred, and from Jackson, thank you so much indeed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon on All Red TV. Take care, guys. Good night. God bless.